Day one of the championships is here. 4 Group 1s, including the Doncaster. What a brilliant race that is. I'm Tom Haylock. This is Layback with Betfair, joined by Liam Clancey and Jackson Oldham. Jacko, good to be with you, mate.
Thanks, mate. A pleasure to be here.
What a day. You're usually a Melbourne form expert. There's a few horses crossing the border and a few Victorians and Melbourne horses running. So we'll throw to you for a lot of the Melbourne horses and the questions. We've got King. You're the everywhere man. You do the form for everywhere. You're the pro. How are you, mate?
Yeah, very well. I do like having Jacko on the show because the days like this in Sydney, they're quite tough to find a bet in these huge fields. Group 1, everyone there to win. So a couple of wide out Caulfield chances around about 4 p.m. when we haven't had a winner in a while. That's exactly what we love having Jacko on the show for.
Correct. It is declaring one at Caulfield, which we'll get to in a second. But that's almost a good segue to my lay-in. I just came up with it. These races and these days, and I shouldn't complain about this because we do love what we're doing, but the process of doing form for 2 hours on a race and then ending up with without having a bet, it's hard to cop sometimes, Lane.
It can be, yeah. And we'll get to the point, I think in the Carbine Club was similar for me where, geez, I'd love to have a bet. There's great horse flesh running around, but I've gone through the process for a good hour and come up with nothing. And I'm just going to, I know when the race comes around, there's a fair chance I'll be hitting the pink punter somewhere, but yeah, it'd be frustrating to start.
That's the beauty of Betfair, actually, because there's always ways to have a bet and have a play and lay if you don't like anything in the race, which is always some angles or trade. So that is the beauty of Betfair. You don't like these betting so much. You'd rather bet at Tuesday at Avoca or something.
Yeah, a Chuka, Yarra Glen when there's 2 chances and one of those will go back and the other one's on speed, those kind of things. I go through the form here. I'm like, oh, well, that's a good horse. That's a good horse. That's a good horse.
That's
right. Very, very tricky.
And luck in running plays a huge part in these big races as well. So, but they are brilliant. As I said, 4 Group 1s at Randwick. I can't wait to dissect those with these two. Liam, your lay-in before we get to Caulfield?
Yeah, this was about 2 weeks ago. I did a Tommy Haylock and I actually added it to my phone.
Back to winner? Oh, sorry. What?
Nah, that's that can go on the lay-in. But I was getting on public transport.
Oh, you're taking notes for lay-ins?
Yes.
This is good.
Yeah, and as I was, obviously, like the tram pulls up, you wait for everyone to get off, and then you get on. And then there was this elderly lady, should have been in her 80s, trying to get off the tram. And these idiots in front of me just start trying to pile on before she's got off. Oh. And it was just, it really made my blood boil how it worked. And, you just bump into it more and more frequently. And now that I've noticed it once, I seem to notice it all the time. And not many things get me frustrated, but it certainly is starting to grind it.
Lifts are the same. People getting in lifts before you get out. The problem with public transport and trams is people take a long time, especially the elderly, take a long time to get from their seat to the door. So you think you're getting on when everyone's off and there's still people coming out.
Oh, you're one of them, aren't you?
No, I'm not. It can get you. There's been times where I've got on a tram and been like, oh, people still getting off. And you step back down and you feel bad. Right. I'm not. All right, let's get to Caulfield. Let's find some winners. Good for 9 metres. 15 kilometre westerly, not much of an impact. Jacko, you're pretty keen. But firstly, how is the track playing?
Yes, so we've got rail out 9 metres. The last time we had this rail position was August 17 last year. There was no real lane bias on the day, but every horse that won was within 4 lengths of the leader at the 600 metre mark.
Ooh, yep.
So, look, I'm not taking too much stock because that track was sort of tired and old. It's a bit of a different track now, but I would favour horses who are going to be up on speed.
Do you know what the wind was on that occasion?
No, I do actually. I did look. It was a very light northwesterly.
Yeah, so pretty almost similar conditions with a light wind. Shouldn't have a huge impact. You have declared one in race 1, and I do want to ask you about race 2 if you've got an opinion there. But race 1, you're very bullish, so we're doing something different here before we get to Randwick.
Yeah.
We're throwing to you for one race at Caulfield. What do you got for us?
Yes, so the 2-year-old race 1, number 6, Scenic Point by Lindsay Park, who, in my opinion, is the best stable of 2-year-olds in the state. This horse was $9 into even money on debut at Pakenham, off some very nice jump outs there at Flemington.
What price did you get?
6s. And then 4s.
Couldn't get the 9.
And then 320.
I don't think anyone got the 9. 6s, 4s, and 320.
Yep.
Sheesh, you've done well there.
Jumped out really well against a stablemate who ran top 6 in the the race prior, the week prior at Caulfield.
Yep.
Ran so the expected rating was huge because it started odds on and it went just way above that. It ran a rating that would clearly win this and would be competitive in most Group 1s, 2-year-old races that we've seen so far. I like that Aleppo Pine has been scratched from Randwick. It runs here, so we'll get a price. And this thing, if it stands up, it'll win.
Scenic Point, race 1, number 6. They're very bullish. Victor by 3.5 lengths on debut. Jackson got a good price. It firmed and won well. She looks a star. You said something before we went on air. You think this would have been high, like you said, the ratings would have. You reckon it could have beaten horses like Woderton and whatnot?
I would have backed this horse in a slipper or a size. Yeah.
Big call. So race 1, number 6, Scenic Point there for Jacko. Have you done the race at all, Liam?
Have not. Oh.
Haven't had a look. Have you had a look at race 2? Because I'm keen to play and I'll get to it in the best bets. But have you had a look? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Is there anything that tickles your fancy in race 2?
No.
Good. Fair enough. We'll move on. I've got a bet in race 2, so that's a little teaser coming up later for the show. Let's get to Randwick. As I said, 4 Group 1s, great day of racing. We'll kick off with race 4, the Carbine Club, 1,600 metres. Liam, how do you expect the track to play? Pretty wet, drying, rail true.
Superb tradecraft from Tommy there. Now he's working on his little teasers.
It's
Very
good,
nice.
Isn't it? It's only taken me 4 years.
We're still soft 7. What is this, Thursday morning? But really nice sunny weather for the rest of the week. Expected on Saturday as well. 25 degrees sunny. I'd expect it to get to minimum of a soft 5, but by the end of the day, you'd imagine we'll be working with a good 4 and pretty negligent winds. Wouldn't expect it to have too much of an impact.
Beautiful. Well, let's head to the Carbine Club Stakes, 1,600 metres for the 3-year-olds. The 2 at the top look the key to market fancies in number 1, Evaporate, number 2, Swift Falcon. Liam, you kick things off. Who are you with here?
Yeah, there's certainly the right 2 in the market, but it'd be remiss of us not to chat about this Shangri-La Spring, who appears to have the role of the lone leader in the race. And with a horse like Swift Falcon, who's very likely to get back, only really knows that one way of racing, it is quite a bit of a worry to have a lone leader who's actually starting to put some really nice ratings together coming into this. So whilst I've got Swift Falcon absolutely like almost to the point of a moral at $1.70 marked, it's just such a nervous setup of this race with Shangri-La Spring out there in front with such a big lead. So I won't be playing early. I think if we happen to get around that, 5 to 4, 225 odds, I'll probably jump into Swift Falcon there. But as we sit here on Thursday morning, I'm going to shoulder arms. And the last one I want to talk about is Pleasure Artist, number 9. Big price here, 30 to 1. Won't be winning here over the mile, but as it starts to get out in trip, I really like this horse going into the Oaks last year. And again, just went way back in the field. So doesn't set up well here at all, but I'm looking forward to seeing that horse later in the prep.
So Swift Falcon marked very short. We'll get a fair idea of how the track's playing by now, so that might have an impact. Obviously, we'll be looking for horses to make ground, and then you can dive in that way. How have you said the rest, Jacko?
Yeah, I'll play the favourite here, and I agree with that loose leader out in front. You can have something on it. It's a price where you can back the favourite and have something on as well. Look, it's Swift Falcon's 2 ratings prior to last start were very, very good. Probably just doesn't run out a strong 2,000 metres, I thought, but had to make a wide looping run from the 800, and I thought its effort to be as close as it was in the finish was really, really good. I'm not too concerned about the lack of tempo, because if you actually look at his best ratings and his best runs, they've come off slow speeds. So I think a mile slowly run race where he can use his turn of foot is ideal. Look, Evaporate's still profiling to improve, but I'm not sure that this is where he will run his peak rating. Went to New Zealand, he's had the flight to New Zealand, he's come back, he's off 26 days, a trial in between. It just feels as though maybe in the spring now is where he'll peak. So I kind of wanted to be against Evaporate.
Interesting. If Evaporate gets the right run from Barrier 4 with Shin on tracking that speed, and Swift Falcon will be back, it would be remiss of us not to talk about the track 2 weeks ago, and it was a huge advantage to be on fence and fence in run, and we saw that, and we're not going to talk about that in detail, but horses like Swift Falcon weren't on the fence. His run was enormous considering. You've got to factor that in throughout the day.
Yep.
Obviously, we're 2 weeks, fortnight into this. There are a lot of horses coming from that meeting, Liam. Is that you've looked at a bit as well?
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, Randwick, as a rule, plays a lot differently to Rose Hill. So you'd expect those coming from the back to have a lot more of a chance anyway. But I mean, that Rose Hill Guinea is a sensational piece of form that we'll talk about for the rest of this meeting as well. So I wouldn't be plotting anything coming out of a strongly run race there.
Yep, I'm with Swift Falcon as well. I agree, Jacko, that this horse I think is a better miler, even 1800 metres. I don't think 2000 is a stretch. Anything over 2000, I don't think he runs it out strongly. And I think back from the 2000 to 1600 slow tempo, he's got a sharp turn of foot. He just needs a win now.
Yep,
that's the little reservation. He's been costly a little bit in his last 5 or 6 runs. So Swift Falcon on top for me. I'll probably be backing him, but just waiting to see how the track plays. Let's get to a race. We're heading to race 6 here. The Inglis Sires, 1400 metres, first of the Group 1s. Cracking race. You are keen on a bit of a hamburger here, Jacko. You're backing one and laying another.
Yes. Backing the horse with the Victorian form here, number 3, Pinrock. Just improving at every start. I really like the style of the win last start. It was the only leader to win all day there at Flemington. Did it with plenty in hand. Did it off a fast speed. Looks the map horse here as well. Should lead if a good kick. And I'm laying Woderton. Can certainly win, but it's just the map. He'll go all the way back to last. Profile's good off a nice, strong 1200 meter run up to 1400, etc., etc. But it was just the map. I think some nice enough horses are going to be too far in front of him. So I was backing Binrock and laying Woderton.
Yeah, so Woden draws 9, Rivellino 6. They both don't have a huge amount of speed. Do they have to go right back on Woderton, Liam?
Well, they don't have to go all the way back. They can try and sit midfield.
You don't have to. You don't have to do anything. They can go and sit outside lead if they want, but they won't. You wouldn't think.
Ryan Moores doesn't fill me with confidence either.
Well, I mean, Ryan Moore's a world-class jockey.
He is a good jockey.
Top 2 or 3, but hasn't sat on a horse that's a little bit quirky before. So, I mean, you'd prefer to have J-Mac, but I don't think Ryan Moore would be too far behind. It is funny, but I'm with you here. I've also found Binrock, not the traditional lead-up form to the Sires here, but I just love exactly echoing your thoughts. Like, it was plus 4.5 lengths to the 800 last start and absolutely kicked away, did it in such nice style. Rivellino is one of mine. I love this horse, but geez, it's got a really bad knack of stepping quite slowly, and that's what is forcing that horse to go back rather than anything else. And I don't think we'll be able to get away with it in this race. Prestige Forever is a horse that's getting better and better. I'm just not sure what to make of that Valley track last start, and it might make that win look a bit better than it was. So Vinrock's the one I've landed on top. There's been early market support already, and I think the last 6 or 7 winners of this race have come out of the slipper. So we're hoping to defy history, but that's what we'll go for at the $5 mark. 21
of the last 30 winners of this race have come through the slipper, but even with that in mind, the BRC Sires actually has a good record in this race as well. Not as good as a slipper. It's obviously the natural lead up. Waterhouse has won this 7 of the last 25, which is incredible as well. She's got the Soul Philly Bellazane there. I agree with all of you, both of you. I think we're all the trifecta. Vinrock leads, hard to beat.
A lot of weight.
I know, carrying a lot of weight. Ticks the 1400 metre box already. Woderton, I thought Rivellino was a better run than Woderton leading in that slipper. I think if you swap the runs, you swap the results. But also they were both, and I made this point on Twitter last night, and I asked a question. They were both on fence. So you saw the first 4 across the line in that slipper fencing run. If they weren't on the fence in the slipper, do they run top 4? That's a query. And if they don't run top 4, what price are they here? I've got a huge reservation about how that track played and where they were in the run, whether they were favoured. I know Woderton. I thought Woderton's a miler all prep, so he gets to 1400 metres, which is a big tick. But yeah, I think the right bet. He was 3rd favourite. Vinrock, I think, is the right bet because he's the value in the race. He puts himself into the race. He ticks 1400 metres, and he just doesn't have that query of the way the track played at Rose Hill. So
yeah, and Rivellino visually looked incredible coming home there, but Woderton still ran the best last 400, 200 of the race. when Rivellino is probably more entitled to do so. If I'm going to take any of those three on, I'll be more than happy to take on Rivellino.
Yep. You're taking on Waterton, Liam taking on Rivellino, and we're all with Vinrock there. Hello, Betfair punters. We're excited to introduce a new feature on the Betfair app, Follow Tipsters. This feature will allow you to follow your favourite Betfair experts and receive notifications when their betting strategies go live. By clicking follow and enabling notifications, you'll never miss a tip from pros like Terry Layton, Mitch Lewis, Jackson Oldham, and Bella Anderson. All exclusive in the Betfair app, so download and get started. Time for Maybach list. My turn to step up. And I want to get your opinion on a few things on this list, but I'll count down from 5 to 1. And it is bucket list race meetings, things that are on my bucket list. A couple of them that I've done or done similar that I can talk about as well. But my bucket list. If you haven't done Happy Valley, highly recommend. Have you done Happy Valley?
No.
Highly recommend Happy Valley if you haven't done it. But I'd love to do the Happy Valley Champions Day double. That would be superb. Champions Day in Hong Kong, brilliant race meeting. Any meeting in Hong Kong's fantastic. But Happy Valley on the Wednesday into a race meeting like Champions Day is number 5. Number 4, I've been lucky enough to go to Longchamp, but not for the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. Many people say it's the best rated race. Are you happy with that pronunciation?
That was incredible.
We were practicing that in front of
Yeah,
me this morning.
Everyone says it's the highest rating race in the world. Obviously, an incredible race. I'd love to be there for that. It's a beautiful track if you haven't done that. Number 3, Cheltenham Festival. Everyone that I've spoken to that's been, you hear a lot about this and the scenes from the photos and the videos look epic for the Cheltenham Festival. So I'd love to be there for that. Royal Ascot, you've done Royal Ascot, haven't you? No, you haven't. No. Oh, just thought you had. Have you done Royal Ascot?
No.
Royal Ascot's number 2 on my list. I would love to be there. Obviously, great time of year in the English summer. Get out of the Melbourne and cold winter here in Australia and get to Royal Ascot. And number 1, drum roll, please, Harry, is the Japan Cup. Fits 223,000 people. You get over 100,000 people there, and if you haven't done a race meeting in Japan, any race meeting, particularly one with a big crowd, it is unbelievable. The respect for the horse, you can hear a pin drop in the yard when horses come, the build up, everyone cheering as they go out on the track, and it actually is spine tingling. Just the atmosphere and the buzz there. So that meeting specifically is fantastic. But I've done an Oaks, a Group 1 Oaks in Tokyo Racecourse, and that was unbelievable. So that's number 1. Couple of apologies. Grand National, an entry, that's coming up this weekend, I believe. So we'll have some selections there. Australian meetings, I'll get your opinion on that. Dubai World Cup meeting and the Kentucky Derby are all on the list. How did it go, Liam?
Not bad. Yeah, like
I
personally would have Royal Ascot number 1.
Yeah.
Just having seen so many of our horses go there over the years, and I mean that nature strip year would have been so great to go to, but
Stripe, what a horse he was.
I do like the look of the Japan Cup. It just looks like a college football crowd waiting for them as they're about to start. So yeah, it looks amazing there. But no, you seem to have covered plenty of the good ones there.
Jacko, I'll ask you if for all our international viewers, I know we got a lot. For those listening here that haven't been to Australian meetings, what's the one Australian? Don't say a Dunkeld Cup or something. You can if you want. What meeting would you recommend for those that haven't been of all of Australian racing?
Gee, put me on the spot here.
Have a think. There's a couple, obviously. Spring Carnival.
Yeah.
20 years ago, Oakbank.
That was
Easter
good fun.
Saturday,
Yeah.
Easter Monday.
I mean,
it used to be unbelievable.
Ornable's obviously great.
Yep.
Do that every year.
Yep.
I mean, for the atmosphere, I love going out to Sale, just for the cup, for just any meeting.
So, yeah, right.
I love Sale, so that would be my favourite track.
He's saying it with a straight face as well.
Yeah,
I
genuinely love Sale.
This is where he loves. He doesn't like. It's stuff the championship, so he'd rather bet at Dunkeld. Derby Day would be Cox Plate Day.
Yeah.
The atmosphere of Cox Plate Day, I think it's the best race in Australia. That is what I would say.
And there's only one left.
For the racing purists, I'd say go to the Cox Plate run this year, the last one.
Yeah.
But obviously, Everest Day looks epic. I haven't been to an Everest Day, but that looks epic with the crowd there. And then races like Derby Day, they're fantastic. Yeah. So there you go. let's move on.
Well done, Tommy.
Thank you, mate. Let's find some winners. You got next week or next time you're on, you can come up with a list. And if anyone's got any ideas for what they want Liam to come up with, his top fives, send them in. All right, let's get to the TJ Smith, the Group 1, continuing on with a few more Group 1 races at Randwick, the Group 1 TJ Smith, 1,200 metres, and what a cracking race this is. Overpass looks the leader, Liam?
Overpass looks the clear leader. Yeah, I can't imagine any of these trying to challenge him for the lead. And for that reason, he's just such an easy bet to have for mine. This horse loves going in first up, usually prepared for a race like the Quokka first up or anything over there in Perth, which has got a terrific record. I think that'll come next on the agenda, go through this race and go to the Quokka. Most likely win that too, the form that he's showing over there. But the way that this race just sets up so perfectly for him, he's just an easy bet there at the $7. That's the first one. Behind Overpass, there's a few that could find reasonable spots, and there's Briasa, which finally drawn a really nice gate here after having no luck in the Galaxy. Magic Time can sit closer from 1. I think I Am Me will sit close as well. And Kimochi, who is a horse that's come back so well. Looking forward to see what this horse can do. Drawn out wide. I'll be interested to see if they go forward. If it does, half a chance in this race. But who was it? Overpass my first bet. Second bet is of mine is one that I just cannot believe that the early drift on this horse. We're getting double figures about Sunshine in Paris. Yep. This is a champion sprint winner. She waltzed past Jolie Star in the Scirocco in spring. And Jolie Star's a $4 shot here. Sunshine in Paris now in $10. She was massive first up in the Canterbury Stakes, 1,300, like probably unsuited there, and still rattled off the fastest last 400, 200 of the race. I don't know what else this horse could have done. And we're getting double figures. So 2 pretty easy bets for me to have in this race, in a race that I do concede does have quite a few chances, but at $10 and $7, happy to play those 2.
Yeah, I've found it tricky. I definitely agree with you with Sunshine in Paris. Started $7 in Everest. It was my case for Jolie Star, and the Newmarket started $6 favourite in the Everest. So there wasn't a lot between them. You've just got to tie them in, I think. And Sunshine in Paris was good. Fresh. You mentioned Briasa drew well and drew poorly last week. Had to go back to last, but you
had to.
Well,
there were no other options.
Yeah.
Just as Hawks.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it is that stable. Yeah, you mentioned he draws well. Said it was closer, but you're against him?
Yeah, in a massive way.
Really?
I think this horse is being priced up because of that, flashing light run, had no luck, ran on against the bias, and is now drawn really nicely. Sure, you still have to prove that you've got the talent in you, and this horse may well do that, but it hasn't proved it yet. So there's a lot of potential there, but it's treated so poorly at weight for age compared to handicap conditions last start. I just think if this horse got out to $10, I could entertain backing it. But at $4.85, I think it's a fantastic lay early. So that's what
you agree, Jacko?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
nodding your head over there.
Yeah, I came into this show thinking, well, I'm not going to bring too much New South Wales expertise. It's time to come in with something. So I've done some stats.
Oh, I love this. No one else has prepared for this show ever, so this is good.
Okay, so TJ Smith over the last 10 years, horses either first or second up. We've had 36 of them. 11 of the 36 have started under $8 for only one winner, and that was Tanner Anna Lane in 2019.
God bless you.
So we've got Overpass, Briasa, Sunshine in Paris here, who are all early in their preparations. So I'm going to be against all 3 of them and back the 2 horses with the platform, and that's the 2 Jimmy Star,
yes,
who ran a huge number in the Oakley Plate first up, and then got on that horrific Moonee Valley quicksand track last start, was back last, couldn't have done any more. I thought it was a huge price.
That run was fantastic in William Reid.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Jolly Star as well, who couldn't have done any more last start in a market, goes 1,200 to 1,200. So I thought those were the 2 horses with the platforms, and I was happy to be on them both.
1,200 Randwick, and often it can be wet tracks at this time of year as well. So that it's not an easy 1,200 Randwick, especially on rain effective surface. So that might back up your stats. Fascinating take there. I'm scared stiff of those 2 you mentioned. They both can win, and I found it hard race to do. I think Overpass is the easy bet to have. I agree, Liam. Just puts himself in the race. I still think this horse is underrated. He's won almost $10 million. He's won 10 races. His first up record, his 8 first up runs, yet only missed top 2 finish in one of those, including 4 wins. So he's an absolute star, and he's still underrated in my opinion. I think he's just a bet at that price. Interesting case for Briasa, you mate, because I think racing is, and we saw it with Private Harry, and I think the next we're turning a corner with the old group of sprinters, and we're looking for the new blood. And Briasa and Private Harry are those, and they're the exciting horses coming through. So I'm so excited by what this horse can do. He's won 6 of 8. He was fantastic last start against the pattern, as you mentioned. I think he can win, but it's a scary race. So if I'm backing, I'll just have something Overpass.
It's with at horses. There's a thing I really don't like, and that is that flashing light run horses who go back off a slow speed. Well, he's run a slow speed in a fast race, like to the 800, and then flash home and go up in trip.
Yep.
It just isn't a good platform. In my opinion.
That's a very good shout. Ran 32.56 final 600 metres in that race.
Couldn't have done any more, clearly, but he's been priced up like that too. I thought.
And a stable that don't often put their horses in the races from those barriers and improve second up and gets a few ticks. So it's a brilliant race. I can see a case for Overpass there. Before we get to the Group 1 Doncaster, I just want to ask, where does it sit in terms of races in Australia for you?
Oh, it's right up there.
Right up there?
And we talk about this all the time, but these big field handicaps, they're not on Jacko's Christmas card list, but they're right at the top of mine. I love them. Like so many different weighted chances. The horses at the top of the market will be dominating the weight for age, but you're going to get a horse like Firestorm, who I don't know where this horse's form has come from, but it is going to be genuinely competitive here in a Doncaster coming up against the likes of another Will and Gringotts. So I love them personally.
Probably be my top 3 or 4 races for the year, the Doncaster, and it's a brilliant race. Just on the Doncaster, it is race 8 on the card. Obviously, the Randwick Mile, the famous Randwick Mile. Chris Waller's won 6 of the last 15. Hasn't won since Wicks in 2016, so it has been a little while.
Wasn't that gutsy setting? They killed everyone's
so
Queen
good.
Elizabeth.
And the 220 they had on offer for a while was good. Winks. He has 5 runners in this year's edition. He's got a couple of internationals, which are very interesting. Last year, we saw a 3-year-old win, Celestial Legend, 49 kilos. Became the 10th 3-year-old to win the race in the last 29 years. And they obviously ran the trifecta in 2013 with Sacred Falls, Piero, and Norzita. In 2013, as I said, linebacker looking to make the 11th in the last 30 years. 3-year-olds there. Speed, Liam, Just Folk backing up from Tuesday looks the leader.
Yeah. You can't imagine they'll do anything different there. I think Royal Patronage drawn out wide will lead forward as well. I can't see there being any scratchings between now and the weekend, but First Emergency Rise at Dawn would make it a very interesting speed battle drawn so early in 2. So that would change the complexion a bit, but let's, for argument's sake, say that Rise at Dawn won't be there. Gringotts drawn 6, sits nice and close. Another Will has drawn really wide out in 18. I doubt they're going to want to go back to last. So very, very decent chance to try and find that 3 wide running line. So as you'd expect with a race full of 20 chances, this speed's just going to be fascinating to see what happens. The ones that I think are going to be unfavoured is a horse like Tom Kitten out of Barrier 1, sitting midfield with a lot of horses stuck outside of him and needing a lot of luck to come into the race. Firestorm has been going back. I don't think he needs to do that in this race. Drawn in Barrier 8, I think can sit a lot closer. So I'll be looking to find that horse as we touch on the race.
Yeah, that's Chris Waller's OM, really. Wide barriers back, inside barriers settle closer. I want to chat with everyone about the George Rider. It looks the key lead up. 8 horses come through the George Rider, and it was that day 2 weeks ago where a few horses were on fence. I thought Royal Patronage went too slowly there out in front, 7.8 lengths slower than class benchmark to the 600, but it was fence in run. Winner Gringotts was well supported, had fence in run. There was 2 horses through that race in Steffi Magnetica and Tom Kitten that didn't find the fence. I thought they were both really good. Who out of those 8 horses, Liam, do you like the race as a form reference? What are your thoughts on that race?
Well, the Gringotts, the fact that Gringotts has actually managed to go forward and win that Group 1 at weight for age, I very rarely would be finding the horse at the top of the weights here, but it's one horse I have to have with me. But Firestorm's the one that's climbing through the ranks here that I will be finding each way. That Millie Fox win first up was phenomenal. And then if she drew a gate in the Coolmore, I actually think she would have beaten Lady Shenandoah there. So and split Lady of Camelot as well. So that's an incredible form line to be going with there. And we're getting for $13 at the moment for that horse. And then the linebacker form line is very fascinating. Like this, I just wish this horse had have continued to go forward, because now that most recent win looks like such a blip, like it's a huge peak for the horse. And if it replicates that here, it's favourite. But then I have to sort of regress maybe half a length off that, and it brings it back to the market. So the three I have at the top are Firestorm, Gringotts, and Linebacker. But at current prices, I'll just be having an 1x2 play on Firestorm.
I agree with Linebacker. I think it's a major player, weighted to win, 49 kilos, Zach Lloyd. Something that I can't get it out of my head. Broadsiding, Swift Falcon, Linebacker, Aliana. They've been running against each other every start, and we don't actually know whether it's good form or not.
Yeah.
I know we've seen Broadsiding and Cox Plates and whatnot, but are they all going average? Are they all going incredibly well? It's going to be an interesting test. Jacko, what are your thoughts on the race?
Oh, too hard.
Too hard?
Too hard.
Well, let's start with the Melbourne horse. Another Will.
Yeah, so I was about to say, if I had to have a bet in the race, it would be another Will.
You're right. Top weight?
SP, I care about weights less than most.
Yep.
SP around Mr. Brightside last up probably should have, if not won, gone very, very close to winning. Jamie almost hit the deck at the furlong. To pick up and still run as close as it did, I thought was outstanding.
Do you reckon it wins? Even luck?
But probably a photo, close enough. Yeah. I don't think you can say
depends who you back.
Either way, yeah. I'm surprised it's $10. Well, I'm not, because I've got really no idea here. and me saying that would indicate that I've got any clue. Around the relative to SPs, I'm surprised it's as long as it is.
Yep.
But that would probably indicate the type of race it is, and it's very, very difficult.
Yeah. Interesting. I hate barrier 1 for Tom Kitten, and is that why you're laying him?
Yes.
Simple as that.
I'd have him at market price.
Yeah.
Had he drawn a reasonable gate.
Yeah. Yep. 3 out of the last 4 winners have drawn barriers 1 to 4, which I find interesting, and they're actually inside barriers. Surprisingly, actually got a good record. So that surprised me for a race like this. I wish he drew better, but I'm with him, Tom Kitten. I think he obviously ties in through another wheel. I think it's the right form. His record at 1,600 metres at Randwick is exceptional. He was off fence in that George Ryder. He came with a strong finishing burst. I think if he had the run of Gringotts, he annihilates him there, in my opinion. And yeah, I think he's a great bet. Steffi Magnetica off fence can improve. I think Linebacker is the one. I think they're the two best, the locals, Linebacker and Tom Kitten. Swift Falcon, if he gets a run, I agree. I don't want to lose if Firestorm wins the race. I think there's 2.5 chances in the locals, and he's the half. Then you got the internationals, and they're so hard to line up. Mora and the Japanese runner as well. Have you got any idea on the two?
Yeah, Moira's the one from a ratings perspective that gets the closest. I think was behind that Full Count Felicia in that race overseas when Felicia went way out, and then Moira was a much shorter SP and ended up beating them, and then switched the tables next time when sat a bit closer. So if they all weren't drawn so horrifically, I mean, you're drawn out in the 20s in a field like this over the Randwick Mile. You just need so much to go your way, or you need to have so much class on the rest of the field. And I don't think you're going to look at either of those. I mean, they're big prices for that reason, but I'm happy to put a line through the internationals here and work with what we've got.
Jockeys on, I don't know how you pronounce it, Geoglyph. The Japanese, obviously, Lane on, has a great affiliation with these Japanese runners. He's a huge positive booking. And Moira, Pertin on as well. I think they've got the right jockeys, and they both go in my quaddies because I'm scared stiff of Japanese runners. And Moira won the Fillies and Mares, raced the Breeders' Cup. Moira ran a really good race, beating 2.6 in that Breeders' Cup. So they're both world-class races, and it's fantastic form. So I don't want to I want to keep them on side as well. But Tom Kitten on top for me there, and happy to be with him each way. Let's get to the Derby. Race 9, 2,400 metres. We mentioned Aliana through the Swift Falcon broadsiding form. 4 fillies have won this race in the last 70 years, if you don't mind. There's not a huge number that have run. Conversely, New Zealanders have a brilliant record in this race, and they share favouritism with Aliana and Willie Do It. They've won 6 the last 16, the New Zealanders. Oof. So obviously they get through the wet. There has been a few wet derbies run, and a lot of them do handle the conditions well. Of the two, you've got the 2 favourites, Aliana, who was on fence, but unlucky last start, and then you've got the New Zealander, Willie Do It. Are you leaning to one of those two, or are you looking away from those two?
Yeah, I had a reasonable bet on Aliana last start, and I still...
Off the floor yet?
No, I'm not. And I was at the Crows versus Bombers game, so I was
that
a very happy person at the time. And I'm sitting there in my chair just watching it. So I was like watching Rochelle kick his third, and then I was like, "Oh, you're kidding!" I still can't believe the horse didn't win the race.
Yeah.
Back to your earlier point, I would be leaning to the side. You can't run the sectionals that these horses have done and it be a poor piece of form. I think that they're running really well. That quartet of horses that you mentioned, and for that reason, there's a horse that I'm going to find in this race shortly after. Between the two of them, I've got Aliana on top, drawn really nice to sit closely. Willie Do It, and I actually think Mustang Morgan, the other one coming from the New Zealand Derby, tried to lead that day, found the lead, and then a bunch of horses came around the outside and took him further back onto the rail, which really hurt his chances there. I think he'll find the front. A horse like Chanois will sit really close, who's just been getting better and better with every start. Plymouth with Zara on board has had some really cheeky good runs in the last few. And I think this is the time for that horse to actually go to another level. I think $15 is a superb price. And then, Aliana close. And Gold Rush Guru, an interesting one where that VRC Derby win, that rating sits second only behind Aliana's Rosehill Guineas. But a really worrying last start when they led, and they went slow and faded really poorly. Too keen, too slow. I think Jamie said when she got off that this won't be leading again on this horse. So where they get to from 13.
Yeah, perhaps the concern is that they might just go all the way back now and drag.
Correct.
From the gate.
Well, he does stay the trip, so
yeah, and at least you know that, for sure. But yeah, my main bet in this race will be Plymouth that I just touched on there. Convinced this horse is going swoops really, really well. Was beat Evaporate first up in the Autumn Stakes.
Yep.
5th when super unlucky in the Australia Guineas, and then only Aliana had a better closing split in the Rosehill Guineas than this horse. Drawn perfectly in 3, Zara on board. I think there's so many great positives there. We're getting $15, so it'll be a 1x3 in a race where I think the top 4 or 5 have it between them.
Yep. The New Zealand Derby win by Willie Do It was enormous, and I can make a huge case for Aliana, but the fence and run just scares me a little bit there. So which way are you leaning in the Derby?
Yeah, I found it a bit of a tricky race. The New Zealander obviously has plenty of upside. Watching its replays, my concern would be it has a habit of being slow away, and I wouldn't love it to be sort of, if it's a half length slow away here from 10 in a big field, it might get trapped 3 deep / have to do a fair bit of work to get outside lead.
Just on that, how much credence you put on Mick Deagle, on New Zealand to ride it, and he's had that experience on a horse like this that can be slightly away. You give him waiting for that.
Yeah. Which is kind of why I can't mark Aliana really short as well. This is Amy Lane's first year on the horse, and I don't think she's straightforward to ride. Like, you saw when she was luckless there at Caulfield, J-Mac got half caught out, the horse went around her, and that probably cost her the race. So I think, and the inside draw, the map is tricky. So I've got a couple of knocks on the 2 favourites, although I can see they're the class horses for sure. And that's why I'm on the Kieran Maher horse, Chanois, each way. A little 1x3, clearly on the place, as probably doesn't have the class of the top 2, but just maps perfectly. And it just is improving, as Clancy was saying, keeps improving. Like, I laid this horse in a maiden 4 starts ago and just keeps improving, maps perfectly, gets the right hoop on, and I will be having a bet, something small to win, but mostly the place on Chanois.
And you should be able to get top 4 and top 5 place markets on Betfair as well. So.
Yeah, if I could get sort of $1.70 top 5 around there, I think that'd be a really nice play.
Love that. That's number 4, Chanois. 1x3, more the place there for Jacko. Liam with number 5, Plymouth, 1x3 as well. I'm not overly keen to play in the race. Let's get to the Hamburger. Your favourite segment, Liam, making me hungry. Trent's done it again. He did very well last week, 2 from 2 at Flemington and race 5. In fact, in Zuto and Helsing was the lay there. So well done to Trent. He's taken his winnings and pissed off overseas.
Yeah, he's going to buy plenty of dollar beers over in Vietnam, and we might not see him for the rest of the autumn. He's going that well.
No, good on him. Jacko, who's your hamburger this week?
Yeah, as mentioned, it is in the Inglis Sires backing Pinrock and laying Woderton.
I think we all kind of agree there.
Saw a very nice price on the exchange for Woderton this morning. Did you have anything to do with that?
Yeah, it's all gone.
It's all you've been snapped up already.
You put up a price?
Yeah, I put up 1,000 at 330.
Well done.
And it's all been matched rather quickly, which is a indication that it might start a bit short.
Yeah, still has to win.
Oh well, well played. Well, that's what the exchange is for. Love that, Jacko. Clance, what's your hamburger, mate?
Yeah, funnily enough, I'm going to go to the Doncaster, the hardest race of the day by a long stretch. I'm going to go Firestorm the Place as my back and Tom Kitten the Place as my lay, just due to the map and where I'll end up on the fence.
Very good. Mine is race 2 at Caulfield, and this is what I was alluding to. I found a very good bet here. It's been a long time off the scene in number 13, Ironton, but I love the jump outs at Flemington down the back straight. And I think this horse is a very good horse. He ran close up 5th at Rose Hill back last time we saw him in Feb 2024. He's been off since then, but he beat home Zadaki, who went on to win a listed race in Group 3 later that campaign on debut. His form just continues to stack up. He trialled against, or had a jump out against Ndola, who was coming off a CS Hayes second. So that horse was up and going, and Ironton trialled incredibly well. So in race 2, the 1,200 metre race there at Caulfield, I've got Ironton as a lovely bet, and I'm risking Heart of Glass. This horse comes through a lead up where they went fast out in front and got the right running transit. Finished off well, probably got more improvement, but 3 horses come through that race. Barbaric Lad ran the fastest 600 metres of the day, I believe there, or at least fastest 600 of the race. So ran the fastest 200 metres of the day. Barbaric Lad can turn the tables. I thought was short enough there. Heart of Glass. What did you make of race 2 there?
I wish you the best of luck.
You don't agree?
It isn't the type of profile I find barrier 2 first up that stable off a long spell that they usually need to run the Hawks.
Yep.
But I can see that it is the horse who has all the upside.
No,
sure.
I agree. I hate backing Hawks first up, especially off a long spell, but just at the price I thought it was a bit.
Yeah, like the Heart of Glass and Co, they are benchmark horses.
Yep.
And yours has all the upside for sure.
Good. Well, I'll take the $8.50 and back it each way, and that is one of my better bets on the program. Caulfield Race 2, number 13. Ironton, I like Vinrock. I like Tom Kitten in the Doncaster. Liam, what's your best bets for the weekend?
Yeah, TJ Smith, I think if you take Sunshine in Paris and overpass, the 2 of them will come out about $4.50. I think it's a great bet.
Ooh, little Dutchy there. Jacko, your
Yep.
best?
We're on a Caulfield, race 7, number 5. Michaela, I love this horse. I love this horse so much. I think she's consistently underrated by the market. One fastest closing splits of the day at Arrogland first up, went to Flemington, was terrific, went to the Valley third up, was run of the night, 3 wide, no cover on a rail hot night, went to Flemington, unlucky the last 100 metres in a better race than this, finally had clear air at Sandown, bolted in fastest 400 to 200 of the day, and then went to the Valley again last start on a rail hot night. She was 3 wide again, never saw the rail. The winner also didn't see the rail, but it's a $2.60 favourite in the last at Randwick in a Group 3. She's $7 here against her own age and sex. The 3 Certain Rise is a hope as well, but I thought at $7, sort of $2.50 the place, I didn't think she'd be missing top 3. Thought she's a great bet.
Jacko finding something out wide.
Just hold
Not
the
only
show.
that, he's also taking on a horse against one that Tommy owns. Lovely cut in the race.
She won't
That's
be running.
fantastic.
That's early mail. She's not running, so that's fine. Lovely cut.
Oh, that's a shame.
Sorry to tell you, Jacko. Race 7 there, Jacko, number 5, Michaela. You're also keen on race 1, Scenic Point.
Yes.
Could be a star 2-year-old. So very bullish on a couple there. Anything else out wide? Where are they running in the provincials?
No, they're running at Pakenham tonight, Cranbourne tomorrow. I don't have any bets. I thought they were average meetings. I'm sorry. I usually have an obscure maiden for you, but I don't this week.
Oh, there's plenty of them. Don't worry about that. We'll find some. Jacko, you're a star. Thanks so much for joining us.
That's okay. Actually, I do.
Oh,
Albertville, Clinton McDonald is running at Mornington on Sunday. I've just remembered. So
there you go.
I think it'll be winning.
But you're saying Albertville was
Race
a track?
course. I know.
I don't even know what that is.
No, it's a horse. It's a horse.
Albertville. Clinton McDonald.
Yeah.
Sunday. That's good. Thank you. King, been a pleasure, mate.
Always is. Look forward to a great weekend of racing.
Yes, we'll be back with Layback with Betfair ahead of day 2 of the championships next Thursday. I think Mitch Lewis and even Adam Blanco might be joining us next week online, so can't wait for that.
Gee, that's an upgrade on me.
No, not at all, mate. You're a star. Thanks for joining us. This has been Layback with Betfair. Stay ahead of the game with the most up-to-date betting insights, track conditions and bias, scratchings, late market moves, and more. When it comes to betting, having the most up-to-date information can make all the difference. That's why we've introduced Betfair's Late Mail, the most informed tipping service on the market. Delivered by pros like John Walter, Glenn Ingram, Sean Byrne, and Bella Anderson, Late Mail provides expert insights closer to the jump, helping you adjust your strategy with the latest information and data at your fingertips. Late Mail is exclusive in the Betfair app, so simply open the app, follow Late Mail tipsters, and enable notifications to be ready when our pros send in their late bets. Stay informed, stay ahead, bet smarter with Late Mail.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.